Is Triple H racist? This seems to be a very hot topic recently. And in my opinion, or as I've thought for a very long time, I think this racist conversation in the wrestling industry is bigger than WWE. I've always felt this way. I've always felt like it's been an industry thing. But is Triple H specifically racist? Or is he not racist? Does he have some type of extremely strong logic or reasoning to why, per se, black talent doesn't get pushed as strongly or as much as some of the white talent? So when I think about the topic, first of all, I want to address at least both sides, because both sides who are making arguments are extremes. Well, to a degree. I will say one side is being a little more reasonable than the other. You wouldn't be surprised to. Or maybe you will, I don't know. But I will say, out the gate, what I think is the case, what I think is more reality to the community and the situation and the arguments that are being made, I feel like the people who are downright saying there's no racism whatsoever at all have to be the most brain dead CTE Chris Benoit clowns possible. We live in this era now where, because we at one point had people, obviously more specifically black people, pulling the race card for unjustifiable reasons, now there is a group of people who have found their absolute favorite talking point, which is every time anything racially contentious comes up, they immediately just jump to it's no racism, pulling the race card, calling people victims. You people are cancer, straight up cancer. You come to my channel, I don't want to say I'm going to insult you. I mean, catch me on the wrong side of the day, and I will insult you and then ban you, straight up. Hop off several bridges. I don't care, because at the end of the day, I hate extremes on both ends. However, I see the people who are actually trying to have the conversation seem to be more concerned about at least discussing and seeing if whether or not there's any validity to it. But I will say there are some people who really, really want to be outraged and immediately jump to Triple H is racist. And I don't 100% agree. I don't think it's that simple. I do not. And I'm going to get into it in this video. It is an extensive video. I want to focus on Triple H specifically and not make this about the industry. Not yet, anyway. I was planning to. I hinted at it slightly with the Swerve Strickland video, but I want to focus on Triple H. My thing is, on the side of those who think Triple H is racist, there are cases to be made. However, I do think that it is a bit of a harsh thing to say out the gate with no consideration. So I'm going to do my best to try to vocalize what arguments there are for him being racist, and maybe in ways that he's not. So this is a very, very in-depth thought process I've had about this. I've thought about this for a good minute. So I think the side that really wants to have the conversation, I'm proud of you guys. I mean, some people are very, very pathetic in the closet and really good at, gaslighting, being manipulative, and straight up just dog whistling 24/7. So for you who are standing up and saying what you genuinely believe and thinking that there's some racial issues behind Triple H's booking decisions of black talent, then I applaud you guys, because I swear right now it's easier to just say he's not racist at all, or there's no prejudice whatsoever. So truth be told, I want to dive into this issue. Just truth be told, I think that Triple H is and is not racist. I mean that in the sense of, do I think Triple H has a motive to bury black talent or destroy black talent? Funnily enough, no. However, right? Asterisk, right? The asterisk. However, the but of things. But I will say, I don't think Triple H is motivated or cares to book black talent either. So what I mean by that is, I don't think he necessarily cares to harm black talent. Sorry, I said black talent. I don't think he goes out of his way to, per se. I just don't think he cares, if that makes sense. So I don't think that makes him like a KKK white hooded, racist person who, just do the worst of things. Because I think people think about racism in a very black and white manner. Ironically, right? Ironically, racism isn't, oh, you're racist. You go home and there's a KKK hoodie in your closet. That's not what that means, right? And it doesn't mean that you're a Black Panther if if you happen to be black and have things you don't per se like about white people, or just inherently don't like white people. It doesn't mean that you're so unbelievably beyond reproach that you're just like, when you think racist, they're not always hyper dramatized radicals. Sometimes people's racism comes out in very funny fashion, right? A racist could be cool with a black guy. Truthfully, I've seen it plenty of times. Oh, I have a black friend. Oh, we have a black friend over here at this place over here. I'm not racist, but every time they talk about black people, there's a very disgusted, very negative tone and, just downright nasty type of rhetoric overall. I mean, so when you think about, truthfully, the issues in regards to racism and how people perceive it, it's very, very just lack of nuance, no complexity, no nothing. It's just, you either wear a KKK suit and you're a Black Panther, or you're not racist at all. And it's like, bruv, what? It's funny because we don't treat plenty of topics like this, but we treat racism this way. I think there's a strong motive behind that, and I think people, if you kind of get what I'm getting at, you understand, right? I just think a lot of people are closeted. That's all. I do. And I think those people are cowards, and I think those people should get punched in their jaw. And while they're having their jaw fixed, should maybe think about what they say next. That said, I think Triple H is not a person who hates black people on the form of, I'm going to purposely book you the worst way I can. I just don't think he cares. I don't think maybe he sees black people as talented or as amazing as the white talent that he has. And I think at the end of the day, to get to the meat and potatoes of this issue, we kind of have to discuss examples, scenarios, situations. I can already see it. The comments say, The Rock though, what about The Rock? Again, and I say this for a lot of things in life. An anomaly, or rather, as we say, the exception does not make the rule. Correct? I think that's a good saying. Let's go with that saying. The exception does not make the rule. It's cool. You have one black superstar, megastar. That's amazing. Have Samoan. Amazing. However, respectfully, if you have an extreme outlier amongst a group, I mean, you're not exactly in the winning argument here, okay? So I'm going to address the arguments that are into, trying to reinforce their point to say that there's no racism involved. Kofi Kingston, Bobby Lashley. First of all, Both of those people, if I'm not mistaken, are memes, correct? And what are they memes for? Are they memes for being the best talent in the world and, just happening to embarrass other talent because of their talents? I don't think so. I think that there's memes around them because there's a specific white guy who happens to come out and defeat them very easily. So I'm talking about Brock Lesnar, obviously. That said, I think when people talk about this stuff, they're just not being honest. Why mention Kofi Kingston and then bring up him being a WWE champion while recognizing or not recognizing, trying to avoid per se, trying to ignore the memes that are obviously describing a very somewhat seemingly racist looking thing. Seriously. I mean, it's just a plain and simple thing, right? But I also wanted to reinforce, I was not watching WWE at this time period. I believe Vince McMahon was still in charge. My point being this, however, I don't think Vince cared all that much about black wrestlers. I think Vince is a vile person. I don't think that's shocking. So I think people feel okay when they say it's Vince, but they don't like it when it's Triple H. So now we have to talk about Triple H. What has Triple H done? Now, to my belief and my thoughts, I look at what Triple H did in Black and Gold, and I look at someone like Keith Lee as a glowing example of someone who was booked really well. However, obviously things did not work out with Keith Lee when he got to the main roster. So this is one case I look at and I say, okay, maybe Triple H doesn't really have that type of rhetoric or belief. He's not racist. He doesn't want to harm black talent. He just is very, particular. Maybe, right? Maybe. Yeah. And then the issue comes to now, where he actually has full creative control on the main roster. And I look at the glowing example of Montez Ford and Carmelo Hayes. And D'Angelo Dawkins. But I don't think D'Angelo is right now, anyway, to that point of being an extreme top tier singles talent. But we knew that Montez Ford was, honestly, he came off ready. And I think everyone agreed after Elimination Chamber that this man was ready. Of course, Vince McMahon came back. Things did not happen. But when Triple H got back in that seat, nothing was done. That's problem number one. Number two, Carmelo Hayes. Now, again, I'm going to preface and say, I look at Carmelo Hayes as partially a product of Vince McMahon, because when he made a main roster debut, although this wasn't his, per se, like his official call up to main roster, he went and got shot down and like just straight up bodied by Finn Balor. What kind of booking decision is that? I mean, it was so random. Like, they didn't need Carmelo Hayes to uplift Finn Balor. And I was one of the people who thought Finn Balor should have won the World Heavyweight Championship at that time. But I felt disgusted seeing Carmelo Hayes get treated like that. And he was, I believe, still NXT champion at that time. So I'm just like, what is this? But even when Carmelo Hayes has gotten on the main roster again, he just hasn't been booked the absolute greatest. Prior to this Andrade feud, who was Carmelo Hayes? What did he do? He was amazing in NXT, and then the main roster, he just does nothing? Don't know. Doesn't come off right. Comes off like very dumb booking. Very odd booking. But now I want to get to case 3. Case number 3. The Hurt Business. Actually, do I even need to explain it? MVP and the rest of Hurt Business wanted to get Hurt Business back together and do something dope and special. Now, people claim that there was nothing left to revisit. They barely did anything. I went back to revisit it because I wasn't watching WWE at the time. They barely did anything. And I look at the same thing in regards to Swerve Strickland. Now, I've already discussed it in the other video, so I don't want to repeat myself. I do not. I just find it sad and disgusting that even now we are still having conversations about black talent not being booked like they should. People saying Swerve was not the talent he is now. No, duh. That's why you have to build them, stupid. That's why you have to build them. That's the point. I think the cases of him not being racist, it's not there. I don't want to bring up the Booker T situation. Booker T is also a mark for his comments, by the way, absolute mark. But I don't want to bring up the Booker T situation because we all know it. We all know it's wrong. It's foul. But that's not affecting today. That's not a part of what the conversation is today. We are many years past that situation. Why are we still struggling to have top tier black talent? The argument is Bianca Belair. That's amazing. Again, another outlier. Sasha Banks was a success story. But again, this is a ratio. This is a percentage problem. The exception does not make the rule. You could count on your fingers you could count on possibly one hand the amount of black talent Triple H is booked like an absolute beast. Jade Cargill sucks, okay? She should have been in NXT, straight up. Sure, she's being presented like a top star, but she's not doing anything. She's got the tag titles with Bianca Belair, and Bianca carries all the matches. So again, my point is this. I don't think Triple H necessarily is a racist. Not entirely anyway, to my knowledge. What I think is he just doesn't care as much about booking black talent. I think there's a such thing, and this should be discussed more often. I think there is a such thing as you don't hate something, but you don't necessarily care for it either. And I believe Triple H is someone who, while necessarily doesn't hate black people, I don't think he's necessarily enthused by them either. I don't think it's on his to-do list to book with care to those who are not white talent. So I look at the LWO and I hate the LWO. I hate to be that guy. I hate the LWO. Get rid of them. So many of the LWO, they are phenomenal talents on their own. Get rid of them. I look at that and I'll say, well, there seems to be some prejudice there. Why do we always have to have the Latinos with the Latinos and doing this with the Latinos? Man, just get rid of it. Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't think we need to talk about Shinsuke. I don't think we need to talk about Shinsuke. We all know, or we should know. The point is this. I think Triple H could do a lot better in booking black talent. It's there. I mean, it's going to be there. Trick Williams, Obafemi, Wes Lee, Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, the Javon Evans, who just had a phenomenal match with Randy Orton. I do thoroughly believe the conversation is more thorough and thicker than this person is evil and this person is godly righteous. Why does it have to be that way? I think it's fair to say that there may be some prejudice there, but prejudice does not make you freaking like downright evil. It doesn't. I think some of you are, I would dare say, purposely ignorant, purposely manipulative, selfish, rude, disrespectful in regards to people's issues. Period. And I think those who throw out racism, race cards per se, as a buzzword just to get their way, etc., I think you are scumbags, because you are part of the reason why people think having these conversations is just so terrible. Why they have a black and white perspective on it. And that's the funny part. Triple H, just book your talent, bro. Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes has cooked. But man, what's the excuse for not getting Hurt Business back together? What's the excuse for not pushing Montez forward? What's the excuse for not having Carmelo Hayes come and be a bigger star sooner? You did it for Braun Breaker. You definitely booked Ilya Dragunov better when he first came on the main roster. Dude, just book people properly. It's as simple as that. Book people properly. And for those saying that Carmelo Hayes isn't a top star, bruv, you are a clown. Yes, he is. He showed it in NXT. He was amazing in NXT. He gets to the main roster and now he's fallen flat. That's not a coincidence. It's not. Quit being purposely ignorant. Quit it. Quit it. There are plenty of ways to book black talent to be top stars. So just do it. I'm going to say what I think all of us feel in a way. We believe in you, Triple H. We do. If some don't, I'm saying it. I believe in you to book phenomenal talent like phenomenal talent. And that has a lot to do with why people are upset about black talent in WWE. There's a handful, there's a few little shining stars who are black in the WWE who shine. There's a few, but people want to feel like you taking them seriously, man. And treat black talent with nuance, not just one-dimensional characters. Seth Rollins is a multifaceted character. Roman Reigns is a multifaceted character. Jon Moxley, for how crap AEW is, was and is somewhat still, I guess, a fairly nuanced character. Hangman Adam Page is a nuanced character. Guess what? Swerve Strickland is a nuanced character. Just don't book us like garbage, man. Just don't. Don't book black people like garbage. Give purpose. Make somebody a star. That's it, man. That's it. There's so much to be said about these things, and it's like no one wants to have a fair, honest discussion. Truthfully, especially the people who are very, very quick to say something is not racist and that people are quote unquote victims. It's gotta stop, man. It's gotta stop. Someone's gotta say it. It's got to stop. I'll get comments and it just be so random, like not even address the criticisms or the things that I said, just immediately comment like, oh, you're wrong, and then list their talking points. Bro, shut up. Shut up. Low-key, not low-key, just hop off several bridges, man. That's so cringe. That's so corny. Don't be a mark. Don't be an incel. Grow up. Seriously, man. It's tiresome. It's this conversation and the way that it's handled is tiresome. It's tiresome. We know when people are pulling the race card for selfish reasons, to do things that they know they shouldn't be doing. But there are plenty of people who have valid points and valid issues. Let's just handle things with care and just be considerate to people's points. But if you're just going to go places and regurgitate talking points because you've got your own agenda and you're too in the closet to come out and say what you really believe, bro, I got way more respect and love for people who downright say they hate black people, because I've had better conversations with those people than I ever have those who are in the closet about it. Tell you what, I've seen more people find themselves being best of friends with those who are the opposite race, who look completely different than them in pigment, all because they broke the barrier to have a conversation. One person says, hey, I don't like your people. The other person maybe says, I don't understand why. Or maybe they regurgitate, maybe they throw it back at them. But then the conversation maybe gets had. It happens, man. I've seen it. I've got way more respect for those guys, the people who are blatantly racist, who tell you straight to your face, I don't like you and I don't like your people. I've got way more respect for those guys, those women, those people, than you cowards who do it in a very slick way. And I'm gonna leave it at this. You may never get caught in 2024 or 2025, but I will say I hope you get caught one day and someone teaches your jaw a very good lesson. Because some of you have fingers and mouths that are as slick as Sly Cooper. Corny reference, but it gets the point across. At the end of the day, just be fair. Have an honest conversation. It's probably one of the longest videos I've done, but Triple H, man, you have the talent. Just go, man. Just do good by these talents, no matter what their skin color is. And if you don't want those type of allegations and things floating around your character, your business, just book well. It doesn't have to be a black takeover. It doesn't. That's not what people are asking for. People are not asking for black talent to take over WWE. And like I said, someone in the beginning of this video, I don't even think it's entirely a WWE issue. I think it's bigger than that. I do. Shout out to TNA for Moose. And shout out to AEW for Swerve Strickland. Let's just do better, man. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let's just do better. At the end of the day, I think everyone who is commenting on this, at the end of the day, is still a wrestling fan. Just book responsibly and book with love and consideration of others. Plain and simple. That's it. That's it. Push Carmelo Hayes, man. Push him in a way you have not pushed any talent since The Rock. Let's do it, man. The time is now. The time is now. And that's my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Join the Discord. I'm sorry that this is horribly long. This is one of the longest videos I've ever done. I am passionate about this topic, and I will discuss this in a much deeper sense, probably an hour-long video, where I can actually gather or create a whole entire presentation to go through to discuss just the topic on a deeper level. This is like not much. This is just a notice to the issue. But that being said, those are my thoughts, those are my opinions. Join the Discord, man, so we can have deeper conversations. Not the biggest fan of the YouTube comment section, but join the Discord. Trying to build a community, man. I want to build a community where there can be fun, honest, non-biased, non-tribalistic community when it comes to wrestling. Truthfully, that's my goal. That's what I want to do, and I hope some of you will feel encouraged to join. That being said, that's all I gotta say, and I'm out. Peace.